Kansas State wins 42-17, defeating the University of Kansas in Lawrence. A really unexpected performance by Kansas State. That was bad at the beginning, but then pure dominance most of the rest of the way. Congratulations to Chris Kleiman and the Wildcats, number 17 in this winning streak. I'm GoPowercat publisher Tim Fitzgerald. Brien Big B Hanley will be joining me shortly, but while we wait on him, let's cover some of the stats, because the stats in this game don't look anything like I would have expected before the game, win or lose, because K-State did not really need to run the ball to get the big win. That's been the formula. When KU loses, they give up gobs of yards. Kansas State only ran for 140 yards in this game and only had 371 total, which is interesting to me. I would think at 42-17, you would be well over 400, but they did not get there with it. It was just domination by the defense was the story here. So after seeing what Kansas State's defense has done now for 2 games in a row, I should say, it's impressive. It really is impressive that they seemingly turned the corner, and Kansas has scored so many points on explosive plays. None for the Jayhawks of substance. They really got after them. Kansas State had 4 sacks in this game, and Jalen Daniels was on the run most of the game. But he also tucked it and carried it himself. I thought he was a better runner than thrower today. Daniels was 17 of 35 passing the ball for 129 yards. That's it. He did run for 44 total. Highshaw for 67. KU only ran for 110 total and had 247 yards on the day. It was complete domination by the Kansas State defense. It was just a really impressive outing. Avery Johnson was 11 of 17 through 2 touchdown passes for 231 yards, and he was spot on. Some of those were just beautiful downfield balls. I think KU, like most of us, expected K-State to come out and assert the run. They loaded up and tried to stop the run, and guess what? Avery Johnson went over the top, hitting some really key plays here. Jace Brown had a 78-yard touchdown, and Jaron Tibbs a 43-yard touchdown. They got after him. They really did. And it was impressive. It was impressive. Kansas State's now 4-4 on the season and 3-2 in the Big 12. This gets them back to even. Their heads are at the surface finally, and they are ready to move on with their schedule. And yep, Texas Tech awaits. Let's bring in Brien Hanley now. Big B. Wow. What a game.
Yeah. That was that was physical football. This is what it was probably supposed to look like all this season, Fitz. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. That's what this was supposed to look like this season. Is they were the more physical team. They were the more dominant team. I mean, I know it didn't start off great, but first of all, that was a BS touchdown at the beginning. Jaden Daniels fumbled. I don't care what anybody said. He fumbled into the end zone. But from that point on, there was no point in time where I don't think anybody that watched that game didn't think Kansas State is not just better, the superior football team. Not just better, the superior football team. I mean, this is what it was supposed to look like, Fitz.
Yeah, it was. It really was. And it took this team a while to find its identity. And I think a big reason why is Joe Klanderman has switched some things up on the back end, and he's confusing quarterbacks right now. Daniels was throwing the ball into peril most of the day. And then he was just rattled. How many tip balls they have too. It was incredible. I wonder if that was something they focused on, that his release is low or something, because they got after it. Even Holden Bass came off the bench at the end of the game and got the final tip ball that led to the Gunnar Maldonado interception. A really impressive day, holding Kansas at 247 yards, man. That's getting work done. And on the offense, Avery Johnson looks confident. This is the most confident I think he's looked in his career. And it's a totally different quarterback than what we saw at the start of the season.
Yeah, first of all, he's reading defenses better. He's getting the ball out of his hands. But one thing is, Fitz, he's getting protection, but K-State's been able to run the ball. And when you're able to run the ball, it makes things easier for you. I'm not saying that K-State ran for 300 yards or anything like that, but when you can run for even 3.7 yards a carry, Fitz, that matters. Like, teams are not going to want you to do that. And it just opens so many things up on the back end. But Avery Johnson's been pinpointing the football and being accurate with the football, Fitz, playing free. And maybe the pressure or the expectations early on in the season or going to double, whatever it was, it's not there anymore. Yeah. I know that for a fact. It is not there anymore. And he is playing not good football, outstanding football.
You know, Big B, I've been doing the math for a while here about what it takes to get Kansas State to a bowl game. And you and I are on the same page. Bowl game's a bowl game. I mean, if you're 6-6, you're playing a bowl game.
Yep.
And it's good for the players. It's good for the team. It's good for the continuity between seasons. Kind of carries you right into the offseason program. And my math was 6-6 because they still have Oklahoma State on the schedule, probably a win. Colorado coming in to close the season at the Bill. They're improving, so that's a little bit more in doubt. But Texas Tech next week in the Bill. I would like to point out that Kansas State just beat Kansas by the identical score that Tech beat Kansas 2 weeks ago. I thought that was really interesting. This one, of course, was in Lawrence. Then you get the off week, and thrown in there amongst those other games is a trip to Utah. And brother, that's going to be an experience. So they got two that I had written down probably as losses. Big B, after watching this team play and the complete performance they put out there, I'm getting a little optimistic about either one of those games, and maybe a little greedy, but they're hitting their stride at the right time. And I thought it was really interesting too. Chris Kleiman mentioned after the game to the sideline reporter that they're still in the race, and they are. They've got two losses, but I don't think either one of those teams that they've lost to are going to be in a tiebreaker scenario. Nope. I just don't. I think, Iowa State and Baylor are both going to be more than two lost teams. So it'll be interesting. They've set themselves up to a whole different type of season now coming down the stretch.
I mean, look, at the beginning of the year, when you just throw away everything and you just say, okay, what was the outlook at the beginning of the year? There wasn't that many people that just said Kansas State was going to lose to Texas Tech. I don't think there was that many people at all. I think a lot of people counted that game as a win. Now, things have changed. We see kind of what the teams are. But if Kansas State gets back to playing like everybody thought they were supposed to play like, Fitz, and it seems like they're getting back there, tell me again why that can't be a win. Now, Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Tech is who we thought they were either. I think they're a little bit better. But we saw them be vulnerable. We saw a team that lined up and punched them right in the mouth at home and got some momentum and just said, no, we're going to take this away from you, and you're not going to be able to get it back no matter what you do. We saw that. And I don't know that Arizona State's defense is any better than Kansas State's at this particular point in time. I have a deal with Austin Romaine. I feel bad because, look, and we can get into that later, but I just think K-State's got an opportunity. I think they got an opportunity. I'm not necessarily sitting here on the Saturday after we whipped KU for the 18th millionth time in a row. I'm not sitting here saying they're going to win next week, but I am saying they got a chance. I'm telling you that right now. They got a chance.
Of course, Baron Morton isn't playing again today. They expect him to be back next week. They're playing Oklahoma State. One of us could quarterback that team to victory today. But they do expect him to play in Manhattan, so that will be very interesting as Tech's been playing without a quarterback. Brother, in this league, you're going to lose your quarterback at some point. And I understand why the coaches are so careful with Avery Johnson, but they're letting him loose a little bit right now, aren't they? He only ran the ball 6 times in this game. I thought he was going to run it more, but the passing was so effective he didn't need to. How about that? Six runs, a total of 8 yards because of sacks, or hold on, because of lost yardage. It wouldn't have been sacks. There was none. And 2 touchdowns. He averaged 2.8 yards a carry. That's a good stat line. Carry the ball 6 times, score 2 touchdowns. Yeah. But he's such a threat down at the goal line now. And the way he's throwing the ball is just next level.
Yeah, he's playing well. He's playing really good football, man. Look, people get on him. I get on him. Everybody gets on him when he doesn't do the things the way that we think that he should, and probably the way that he probably thinks that he should. But when he does, you have to start giving grace when they do the things right. And he played a very good football game. He's getting it together at the right time. Some of the play calling is also helping. Jace Brown also helping. You know, this offensive line, I mean, a quarterback can't do it alone. I know it's college football, and you can put a lot on a quarterback's shoulders, and sometimes they can bring it home. But at the same time, you got to have some help. We saw a quarterback on the other side today who didn't have any help. And you saw what it looked. Now, granted, he didn't play well. K-State had a ton to do with that, but he didn't have a whole lot of help. And you saw what it looked like. That could be us, people. I'm just saying, Avery played some really good football. Look, it's fine if you're down on him when he plays bad, but when he plays good, then we got to say he plays good. And I thought the kid was phenomenal today. Phenomenal.
Hey, K-State rattled Jalen Daniels.
They did.
You could see the frustration at one point, and he tried to recenter himself, almost like he did a little meditation there. But they just kept coming after him. They never allowed him to feel comfortable. And after those early couple runs, they did a much better job of containing him in the pocket. You just had to squeeze him in that pocket, and they got that done later in the game.
Yeah, and that was the thing early. And I guess we can get to it now. I feel like Austin Romaine maybe was the spy or was there, but we all see what Austin Romaine's dealing with, people. I mean, you got a wrist. I'm guaranteeing you that it's broken. You don't wear a cast for a sprained wrist. He's got a cast on. He can't tackle people. It is what it is. Having said all that, he's out there. At least he's there. It's tough to tackle somebody with a broken wrist. But K-State did a much better job in the second half, man, of just containing them and just saying, nope, we're going to stay in our rush lanes, because that was a little bit of what happened in the first half. You get outside your rush lanes a little bit, and then he's so elusive. K-State did a much better job of saying, we're going to rush and we're going to get after you, but we're going to keep our gap integrity while we do so. And K-State's D-line is just better than Kansas's O-line. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They were just better than them. They physically whipped them. You know how I feel, and you feel the same way, Fitz, about physicality in football. And to me, I'll be smiling all night long. Kansas State physically whipped the Jayhawks. Just physically whipped them. Couldn't make me more happy.
This was the most dominant K-State's defensive line has been this season. It was great.
Yeah.
That was unexpected for me. I thought they were going to have some problems, particularly in passing situations without Tobi Osunsami on the field, but they rose to the occasion. Ryan Davis had a big play. Those dudes played, man. And look, Austin Romaine, at sometimes he's a liability out there, because if they run right at him, he can't really take them down. He can't grab a hold, and that keeps showing up over and over. But he's always around the ball. He's just always around the ball. And my goodness, Desmond Purnell almost did it again. But he is dialed in right now in pass coverage. It's crazy how good he's been.
Yeah, he's got it figured out. He's got it figured out. He's turned his game around, though. There's no doubt. And everybody knew it. He knew it. He was not playing well early in the season. He has got this thing flipped back around. And to be quite honest with you, Fitz, it's the defense has turned around as he's turned around. You can say, well, he had to play, but hey, all I know is what we see. And the defense struggled early. He was struggling early. He's playing well now. They're playing well now. Take that for what you will, but it is what it is. The front four, here's the thing. K-State blitzed. We're going to blitz. Clanderman, he's always going to blitz. But it wasn't crazy. It wasn't every third and fourth down we're blitzing. It was more strategic today, Fitz. The front four just got after him. The front four just said, no, we're better. Coach, if you need coverage, fine. We're going to be better than these guys today. And that's all you can ask for because, again, it's fine to blitz in certain situations. But when you can just get home and harass a quarterback with just rushing 4, it does so much better. And that's why, I love a 4-man front is because in passing situations, especially because maybe you can double team one person, but you can't double 2. You cannot do it. There's going to be 3 guys that are going to be free, and now you just got to go beat somebody. And that happened today, Fitz, a lot.
This is the Powercat Postgame Podcast. Fitz and Big B today. I didn't go. It's been so weird. I felt like Kirk Herbstreit though. I was watching the game with my dog. We had guys coming back from Columbia and Cole Carmony's in Kansas City, and we had 3 there, and the press box is limited. And I said, "You guys take it. I'll do the postgame show." So I was really actually looking forward to seeing the stadium. I hear it's very nice, but another time. Big B, I thought they'd lose. I'm going to put that out there. I thought K-State was going to lose this one. It just seemed like everything was pointing to Kansas getting it done. They had the veteran quarterback. They've dialed in K-State the last 2 years and played better. They were at home, the new stadium. There's energy right now. And then K-State fumbles the opening kickoff. And I thought, Here we go, man. Here we go. Special teams just bit this team on the ass again. And you're right. I don't think he scored. They're just apparently TNT does a really good job covering football without a goal line camera. There's multiple plays we needed a goal line camera. And that was one of them because they would have shown the ball came out. It was loose before.
Yeah, absolutely.
From where he was, his feet were, there was no way he was leaning that far.
No
forward.
way.
So that was unfortunate for K-State, but man, they came right back. They got their own special teams break. And I still don't know how that ball was scooped up. I still don't have any idea where the ball was on that play. It was like, it dropped it, scored. I thought it was one place, and all of a sudden someone's running down the field. So after a bad start, they kicked it into a gear that was just impressive. This was an ass kicking.
Yep. I mean, look, I understand that KU had the ball. They possessed the ball more than we did, but it's because K-State struck quickly. Several times. I mean, if you're scoring quick and you're actually scoring, like K-State didn't settle for field goals. That's always been our Achilles heel in some of these games. Previously, Fitz, is that we settled for field goals. K-State didn't do that. They just scored, and they kept scoring, and they just kept the pressure on, and they were just the more physical football team. And I thought the game would be close. I thought K-State would win because I thought KU would melt under the pressure of not having won in 16 years. And maybe I'm right. Maybe they did melt under the pressure. It just turned out that it was just a blowout. I don't know. I just know that if you watch this game, after KU scored that touchdown to open the game, if you watched it from there on, there's not a person on earth that would tell you that K-State, oh man, K-State is much more of a more dominant football team than KU is. Nobody would tell you that. And that's literally what we saw. And that's a good sign. That is, look, I know there's been this talk, and I guess it's not talk. It was true. Kleiman struggling after, bye weeks. Well, not this year. We've got some things figured out a little bit more.
Yep.
And I just know this meant a lot to the guys to keep the streak going. I know it meant a lot to KU. I know they wanted to end it, but so what? That's not my problem. And K-State's just a better football team. It's just a better team. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. If KU wasn't going to beat us this year, then when the hell are they going to win? And I'm being serious. I know I joke and I make fun of them, Fitz, because it is funny to make fun of them. It's KU. It's funny. But at the same time, it's like, if all these things that you pointed out earlier, I was saying the same things. If you can't win this year, when do you win? Like when does that happen? I just don't know. And it even goes back to the previous 2 years, Fitz. they were far better football team than K-State. They were better football teams, and you couldn't win then either. Is it going to go as long as it went when K-State was beating Nebraska? Is that what we're talking about? Are we going 20, 25, 30 years? Like, when?
It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. They had the veteran quarterback. They had a coach that seemed to have them positioned properly.
Yes.
And now it looks like KU's coming apart at the seams. If you're a KU fan, you're not just stunned by the result of the game. You look at the stat sheet and nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Henderson, their receiver, 3 catches for a total of 24 yards. How? His longest reception was 10 yards.
Yeah.
They just could not get the ball downfield with any effectiveness. I don't know if it was the rain or what, but Daniels was just way off. He did run the ball 17 times, and he has 44 yards, but 36 of those were sacks. College football, can we get the sack yardage taken out of the rushing stats? Come on. It doesn't make sense. So he actually ran for 80 yards on those 17 carries, which is a good number, but you don't want to run your quarterback that often. They just had to. It was the only thing that was really working, other than maybe Highshaw running the ball a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, K-State they shut off the run. And Highshaw ran it a little, 3.5 yards a carry. I'll take it.
Yep.
I just, and again, once they figured out, okay, let's stay gap sound when it came to Daniels running the football, he wasn't effective running the ball either. It was one of those days where K-State just said, look, I know what you're going to try to do. I'm going to take it away from you. Do you have a counter? KU had no counter. And on offense, we're going to put a lot of pressure on you, except for running side to side, but we can talk about that another day. But we're going to put a ton of pressure on you. We don't think you can hold up to that, whether we throw it downhill or throw it over top of you or we run it down your throat. Either way, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. And that's exactly what happened. But we knew that. We knew that KU's defense was horrible and that Kansas State was going to be able to do whatever they wanted. We said that leading up to this. We thought it would be a track meet. Well, K-State thought it was a track meet, and they put their sprinter shoes on. And KU thought it was, I don't know, the slop, and I don't know what they thought. But either way, K-State put them in cement and just beat them from pillar to post.
Again, I get back to this rushing stat. If you told me they'd run for 140, I would thought, okay, won. They took away.
Correct.
And keep in mind, their total was 140. Jacob Knuth came in and ran for 45 yards on the meaningless last possession. Correct. They were under 100 yards in this game, basically. Yep. What in the hell? This game did not go at all like I thought it would, but that's the cliche is true. That's why you play them, man. Games take on lives of their own, and sometimes it works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. This was a game where K-State, once it got the momentum back, KU tried to wrestle it back with the end of the half, but then 3 and out at start the second half. I think it was 3 and out.
Mm-hmm.
And the momentum was right back with K-State, and then they scored. And once K-State got this to 2 scores, I kind of thought it was over, but the Baylor game kept popping in my head.
Right.
And that this team giving up explosive plays to TCU 2 weeks ago, late in the game, popped in my head. They never gave in the second half. It was just so impressive what they accomplished.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to tip your hat to everybody involved, is because just what you said, we've seen them, cough up leads late. And usually when teams do that, it's a sign of not being a good football team, not understanding how to finish a football game. Well, they figured it out. They have figured it out. They're just playing so much better football right now than what they were a month ago. It's not, or even further than that. It's not even funny. They're just a different football team altogether. And maybe there is something to it, Fitz, going over to Ireland and coming back. Maybe there is something to that. I don't know. I just know this is not the same football team that we saw play against Army. I can tell you that right now. It doesn't even – you could match them side by side and watch film. You wouldn't even think it's the same players in the uniforms. They play so much different. And that's the thing, is that this team has changed. They were a bad football team before. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about that, Fitz. They were a bad football team, and I think we all know that. They're not a bad football team right now. They are a very good football team playing the way that I think everybody across the country, not just themselves, thought they were going to play. They have got this thing turned around, but it's not over. It's not over. This is just the beginning. We cannot sit back on laurels on our laurels and just say, well, okay, we beat KU. That's it. No, there's still a lot to play for.
Yep.
A lot to play for.
It's remarkable how this team has changed. And, Chris Kleiman has been bad after off weeks until this season. Not 100% losing, but the team just has never looked that sharp. They have and I almost feel like they were dialed in on specific things we need to change. The first one was energy and stripping down the playbook and just making it simpler. And this time they focused in on details.
Yeah.
And I don't know what details they focused on, but they focused on the right ones because they cleaned up a lot of the problems they were having on both sides of the ball. I was just I also think the emergence of a healthy Gunnar Maldonado has helped this team. It's given them that really intelligent veteran safety that just knows how to play and knows how to tackle, knows how to get guys down in the open field. And I think that's solidified them on the back end quite a bit and probably made him better in coverage because he's one of those guys that probably gets everyone lined up right.
Correct.
So I'm astonished, Big B. I'm astonished at how this team has turned around. And, people were calling for Chris Kleiman's head a few weeks ago. And now this has turned into an incredible recovery of a coaching job. His coaches need to be complimented. If you were hard on him, and I was, you got to give him some credit here.
Yeah.
They turned the Titanic away from that iceberg because it was dead ahead and they got out of it.
They did.
It's been impressive.
Yeah, it has been impressive. They did a great job. But the only thing that I would say about that is, first off, I think, how far back are they though? Like they've turned this thing around, but I would say that the expectation of beating KU, hey, we turn this thing around and then we beat KU. Okay, well, did anybody think we shouldn't beat KU at the beginning of the year? I mean, KU is just beating them has kind of been a rite of passage here lately. So I get it, but I need more. Maybe I don't need more. I just want more. I think that's what it is, Fitz. I just want more because I think they're capable of a lot more. I think they're capable of being one of the better teams in this conference. It just didn't start off that way, but they are capable of doing that. So next week is a huge test. Can't wait to see it because I think Kansas State has figured some stuff out and maybe even simplified some things, Fitz, that, hey, we don't do this well, we don't do that well, so we just won't do it. And we're going to do all the things that we do well, especially defensively. It's that we're going to do the things that we do well, and the things that maybe we're okay at, we're just going to leave that, in the locker room. We're not going to bring that out here because there's no sense in us doing it because teams are too good. They'll exploit it. So why even put ourselves in that situation? Let's just do what we do best and put that out there and make it simple for everybody so people can fly around all over the place.
It's working. It is working 100%. Kansas State wins 42-17 in the 17th year in a row defeating their rival Kansas. Man, that Governor's Cup has good old Flint Hills dust on it. I mean, it just settled into man, they should just never give it back. Just claim it. If they ever lose, just give them something else. They don't know what it looks like, Big B. None of these guys have been around. Pretty soon they won't even been alive during KU win in this series. That was the only early game in the Big 12. But right now it's early in Ames, Iowa State. Ooh, it just got tied at 7-7 and one scroll there. So very interesting. It's going to be a fun day in Big 12 football, Big B, but this was one heck of a way for K-State fans to get their day started.
Yeah, no, I was, it just made me happy, man. I mean, I can be happy as a fan And that's one thing. But one thing I want to portray to people is I've been in the locker room. And don't get me wrong, KU was awful when we played them back in the late 97, 98. They were awful. But it just still meant, because it meant more to us because of the guys in the locker room for Kansas. Like, I didn't have a big rivalry with Kansas. I didn't have this, oh, we got to go beat Kansas type of thing, because I'm not from there. And it be honest, it just didn't mean that much to me because, again, they were terrible, you know. But it did mean a lot to the kids from Kansas. And for us, a lot of the guys that were out of state, to be able to do that for your teammates, number one, because we loved everybody in the locker room. Not that these guys don't. I think they do too. It's just, it just means so much to those kids in the locker room to be able to do that, man, because a lot of these guys, they grow up. This is the rivalry. I mean, they may like K-State and went there. Their brother or their sister may love KU. That's how close and crazy it can be. And so for me, I just thought it was great that K-State was able to continue this thing on, doing it in a dominant fashion on the road to let everybody know, hey, hold on a second. I know it's been close the last 2 years. I know you can even say that maybe they had the better team the last 2 years, but they don't have the better team this year, and they got a long way to go before they catch us.
They sure do. And brings me to this topic. I know this is the K-State postgame show, but was this Lance Leipold's final game in this series? Wisconsin's coming open, and he made his living at Wisconsin Whitewater. That's how everyone knows about him. Then he went to Buffalo, then to Kansas. I would suspect, despite what he's done this season, he's going to be very high on their list. And
yeah,
I hope he stays. I know a lot of K-Staters want him out because he's a good coach, but that's exactly why I want him to stay. This game has more substance now. Winning this game 42-17 means more because they're actually a decent football program now. It's not just, an annual whipping. You got to go earn it. But I hope he stays. But my sense is that this might be it. He's gonna catch some heat for this.
Yeah, I got a feeling. Look, whether we want to believe the tweet from his wife last year talking about it wasn't a good environment, KU's not a good home environment, whatever the case may be, his name swirling around. Look, KU's putting a lot of money into that program, Fitz, and you're putting a lot of money into the program. I'm going to guess, look, you look at KU's schedule, they were talking about it, and, I do the Big 12 Insiders. I'm like, where, other than Oklahoma State, where do you see? He was like, oh, well, bowl game. Yeah, I see a pathway there. I'm like, do you? I go, because I don't see necessarily, but you got to go to Arizona. I go to Iowa State, and then I think they play Utah. I go, you tell me that that's an easy path, to a bowl game. No, it's not. And having said all of that, I just don't. I think KU putting, I think that if he doesn't leave, I don't think they're not going to get rid of him because they learned from way back when they got rid of Mark Mangino. And Mark Mangino had the thing on high gear, and they thought, well, because he doesn't get along with me, he doesn't do the things that we like, we'll manufacture him doing something, and we'll just get rid of him, and the train will just keep on trucking. Well, no, it didn't. No. Not only did the train stop trucking, it lost its wheels, the steering wheel fell off, the doors blew off. I mean, my goodness. And it happened quickly. So I don't think they're ready to do that. However, I would say this, they're putting a lot of money into the program not to go to not make bowl games, not even to win 6 games. I can tell you that right now. You're putting this kind of money into the program. Yeah, six wins isn't good enough for me. So are you better than that? Can you be better than that? And if you're not, we've seen it all around the country. If he doesn't go to Wisconsin, I mean, come on, Fitz. I don't put it past him to say we got to go get somebody better. That would be nuts. Absolutely nuts. But we've seen it.
Yeah.
We've seen it. They're these people that are putting this money up, they're like, nope, 6 wins, 7 wins, not good enough. And we need more.
Yeah, the Mangino mistake was, look, Mark Mangino's not an easy guy to get along with. He's
not.
He's Italian. He's got a temper. And Lou Perkins had a worse temper, and so they clashed constantly, and that was an epic mismanagement of personnel. Let's put it that way, by getting rid of him. But I don't think Kay is going to move on from Lance Leipold. I just think the fans they're going to feel a little, because they were convinced they were winning, and they not only lost, they got kind of humiliated in the process and wet. I mean, so so it's just one thing to get humiliated, but when you have to do it in a shower, trust me, it's bad. Big B, Texas Tech. It's coming up for K-State. I feel like I should pick Tech to win. I mean, I've now picked against K-State a couple times here, and it seems to be working. It's my bad gambling is working to K-State's favor now. I'm not gambling. I'm just picking the other team, but it's hard not to pick Texas Tech next week at the Bill.
I mean, look, Tech's good. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got probably the best defensive line in all of college football. I mean, and that's not an exaggeration because we're playing them. If you just watch their games, they have the best D-line in college football, and not just the starters. They go too deep with that best D-line in college football. It's that good. That's where they spent their money. And their defense, because of that D-line, is incredible.
Yep.
So K-State is going to have to be on their P's and Q's to be able to win the game. They've also shown, a physicality of trying to run the football now that their quarterback's out. Now he'll be back against K-State, but they've come to the realization that we need to be a more physical football team up front. Now, I got in a little trouble against Arizona State not throwing the ball when you needed to throw the football because you couldn't run it any longer. But we'll see. I mean, picking against them, I don't know. I mean, Tech's really good, but yeah, we'll see how this thing plays out, Fitz. Let's just see how it goes, because K-State's playing good football, man. They're just playing good football. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to be, over optimistic or anything like that. But because you guys know me, if K-State's playing lousy, I'll be the first one to tell you they're playing lousy. But when they're playing good and you can see how they're playing good, then I'm going to tell you that too. And K-State's playing good football now, especially defensively, Fitz. Lord have mercy. Are they so much better defensively?
We could look at that TCU game and knew K-State played well, but TCU was off. That wasn't the same way they played. But now I'm thinking maybe they're not off. K-State's defense is just throwing them out of sync, because they flustered Jalen Daniels today. They kept giving him different looks, kept pressure coming at him. I don't know, man. This is just absolutely amazing. Now, a reminder, next week's game is in Manhattan with Texas Tech. We still don't know the kickoff time. Most of the games in the Big 12 were put on the 6-day window. You can look forward to that for most of the rest of the season. I think they get to do it 4 times in a season, and this was the first. So they like to save those so that they can judge what the biggest games will be. And I would expect that this win and the magnitude of it will mean K-State and Tech will be a national, Fox, ESPN, whatever the open slot would be, and hopefully during the day. But we'll see. Maybe they'll want to put it in prime time. I'm not sure. Big B, Avery Johnson, I'd almost given up on him. I've been a huge fan of his, proponent of his, and we just didn't see the kind of fire in your eyes that you need from a quarterback. And I think he was just letting all the outside noise kind of get to him a little bit. I got to run. I got to sit in the pocket. I got to, just everything was like trying to do it all at once, and he was doing nothing well. Now he's just settled in, man. He's just out there doing his thing. I'm so happy for him, because I know it's been frustrating, but to see him have this kind of success and prove to be a real leader, this team needed it. They needed it badly, and he's come up big.
Yeah, I think his mindset of, let me just go play my game and let the chips fall where they may. I think we're starting to see that side of Avery versus, where they're telling me I need to do this, and somebody else said this, and I think I need to be able to do this, and what does this all mean if I'm trying to go to the next level versus just going out and playing and let the chips fall where they may? Because here's the thing about going to the next level in the National Football League. They will coach you up if you're coachable. You know, all they want is the talent. Right. If you've got the talent, they will coach you up. Now, maybe you make it, maybe you don't. That's a different conversation for a different day. But just go play football the way you play football, and then they will figure out the rest. You don't have to show them this or that or yada, yada, yada. That's not how the National Football League works anymore. It used to work that way, Fitz. It used to be you got to be 6'4", 220, rocket arm, drop back passer, don't run around. That's it. That's not how it's played anymore. I mean, it doesn't matter. They will, if you show talent and an ability to read a defense, they will figure out the rest for you. And that's how quarterback position is played today. So I think he's just got to continue to go out there and just, I mean, his hair already is down. Just let his hair down and just go play football, man. And good things are going to happen because he's too good a player. And that was what was so frustrating, is that he was so much better of a player than what he was putting out on the field. And it seemed like he wasn't a competitor. Well, he's competing now. He's competing his ass off now. You got to give him credit because he took a lot of heat, and he's bounced back.
Indeed. I have one complaint today. I'm an old man.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a very healthy heart, but it almost gave out thanks to Jace Brown. Jace, just score the touchdown.
Just scored a touchdown.
They could have flagged you, and it wouldn't have been a dead ball penalty.
No.
Can you imagine losing that play because of that? Not a hold, because you decided to be cute at a moment. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
And then he drops the ball.
Yeah.
No, man. I felt like this is an old reference for my fellow olds, but I felt like Red Fox. I was heading home to whatever his wife's name was. I was
Elizabeth.
mad. Oh, holy cow. An all-around great effort by Kansas State as they defeat the Kansas Jayhawks 42-17. This is the Powercat Postgame Podcast from GoPowercat.com. It was weird not being there, Big B. It was so weird. It was I don't like it. I missed some games for my health, and this one I just missed because it's a better use of our resources. But man, it's not easy watching on TV.
It's not. First off, you don't get to see everything. Look, I haven't done it that many times, and I appreciate all the times that you've been able to get me into the press box. You see so much more from up there than you can on the TV. It is insane how much more you can see. But you know what? Every now and then, though, Fitz, I wouldn't be so hard on yourself, my man. Just it's okay. You know, like you said, other people were there. They did a good job. You know they're going to do a good job. It's okay to just say, you know what? I'm a young man, not an old man, and it's fine for me to be at home and do my job at home. I think you're fine, my man. I think it's just one of those days. Plus, did you want to be out in the rain? Let's just be honest, Fitz. Did you want to be out in the rain and cold like that? No, you didn't. So see, you did yourself a favor because Monday you'd have been huffing and sneezing and hacking. We don't need those problems.
That's true. That's very true. We can put up with Ryan Gilbert being sick.
That's right.
He's sick in so many ways. Cole and Gilbert and Grant Snowden have the coverage out of Lawrence today. There'll be lots of stuff coming. I imagine they're finishing up post game about right now, and you'll see the Chris Kleiman interview pop up first, and some players, and Cole and Gills both had written content that should be up on the site right now. I got a good bench, man. I got you can just get into that depth. It's fine.
That's right.
It's fine. And of course, we'll have a lot of coverage coming up this week. Big B and I will be on the Big 12 Insiders a couple times. Then we'll have the pregame show, the K-State pregame show. Big B joins me on that along with Cole, breaking down the opponent. It'll be a fun look at Texas Tech. And, then all the other podcasts, the regular Powercat podcast. But we get the insiders on Monday night live. And then Cole and Monty Spiller with the walkthrough. So it's going to be another full day of coverage at GoPowercat. If you're not subscribing, please consider doing so. We're having a lot of fun. And even when it was not going well, I thought we were kind of digging into the issues and honestly asking the questions that needed to be asked. So proud of the troops. But Big B is this team fixed or is this fragile?
First off, yeah, I think they're fixed, but we can't stop.
Yeah,
that's the thing, and that's why I always caution by saying they're fixed. But then because when you're fixed, that means okay, well then I can just cruise. And no, you can't cruise. And I'll bring this up. Look, K-State fans do an outstanding job of showing up and being crazy during the games at home. They do a job. I'm going to say this. They're going to need you more than ever, guys and gals, because I know we play Tech all the time. This is not the same Texas Tech football team that we're used to. It is not that team. This is the most physical football team that Texas Tech has had probably in the history of the program. This is not the same Texas Tech that we remember that, hey, you can win in a shootout, and as long as you can get after their quarterback, you'll win the game 38-21 because they don't play any defense and they're soft and they just throw it around. This is not them. They are a physical football team that get after you defensively. They're going to need us. They're going to need us screaming. They're going to need us yelling. They're going to need – if the place could hold 60,000 people, we need all 60. If they somehow let standing room only and people stand on top of the press box and on top of the complex and wherever, on top of Brent, everywhere, they need us because this game, number one, if Kansas State wins this football game, the track to getting to Arlington is literally right there.
Yeah.
It is literally right there. If they beat Tech, it is right in front of them. And I'll say this, depending on what happens in Ames, yeah, it will literally be right in front of them with a track to say, oh, wow, if Kansas State wins out, they can go to Arlington. It's still available, people. It is. So they need us. They need us, which is crazy to think about a month ago, Fitz. There's no way anybody thought this a month ago.
It's insane. I went back to sniffing glue. I was so upset by things. Now I'm just kind of enjoying it. Big B, appreciate it so much. We'll be back on Monday night with the insiders. There'll be us. We'll be joined by Ryan Gilbert and a former player. Haven't decided who yet. Maybe, I don't know. We'll come up with someone. I might have a great former player to join us. I might just have thought of someone who falls in the classification of a former player, and he'll be really good. That's it for this episode. I got to get back to what I'm doing here. My new setup here. I can't escape. It won't let me out. I can't get out. There we go. Woo. Appreciate everyone watching. We're going to end it right here. We're at 1,600 people watching. Man, Big B, they like you. They didn't come for me. I know that. It's all you.